What's happening, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. Just a general stream, I think. I think all the things that I want to talk about are in the title. But if anyone else has got any other things that they want to say, feel free to say them. But I just thought there's a few questions going on. I want to just get people's perspective on where we are so far. Obviously, it was a very disappointing result against Brentford. Very bad. But obviously, we've got a bit of a wait until our next game against Forest. So just wanted to get people's thoughts on a few things that are on my mind in regards to Leeds United. As always, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, and please hit the like button on the video, especially if you're watching the playback, which I'm sure a lot of people will. Frank saying could have had Gakpo, but we didn't bid. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. Shout out to you, Darren. Nice to catch you. And Amelia, hello to you as well. Um, yeah, there's been a lot of stuff over the past few days, especially with the weekend of VAR, the way it's been. It's been an absolute disaster in many matches. I have noticed though that only the ones against what is it in the Newcastle game and the Chelsea game, they keep on getting mentioned, but our one doesn't seem to get a mention. I'm not sure why. Uh, and just hello to everyone that's joining in now, man. Nice to see everybody in here. Um, yeah, it's true. Yeah, 1.75 net spend. I know, not very good for a Premier League team, but we will talk about that in the one in, one out system. But I just wanted to speak on Jesse Marsch to begin with, because I saw a few comments in the match reaction saying about Jesse Marsch. Is he the right man to take us forward? He's on thin ice. And again, I said it when Jesse was appointed. He doesn't have the long rope that Marcelo Bielsa had, where we was always like, maybe he'll get it wrong. Well, a few of us were like, maybe he'll get it right, and then until the point where it just didn't. Jesse's on a lot thinner ice, but for me, I, I don't think that he's on thin ice. I just think he needs to make a few adjustments. And I'm hoping the way that he's a progressive coach. He's not set in his ways as in like his way is the only way. He's willing to try new things, as we saw at the end of last season, as we've seen so far this season as well. He is willing to make changes here and there. So I just wanted to get people's thoughts on Jesse Marsch at this point in time. Do you think he's the right man, or do you think that we need to move on? Me personally, I like Jesse Marsch a lot. I think his personality, I think especially in the Willie Nyanto video, was really good to see somebody that welcoming, speaking in various languages to help him, get settled in, and letting him go back for the weekend, getting his stuff and everything else like that. Uh, and I just think that his man management skills are brilliant. I do. I think they're really good, even to the point about the Dan James thing, where he wished that he didn't have to. He didn't have to send him out, and we'll talk about that again in the one in, one out thing. I just think that. But listen, he's not perfect. The one thing I will say that it is really concerning me, not concerning me, but confusing me, are some of the substitutions. I think the substitutions are probably pre-match and pre-built, rather than just going with the flow of the match, because our substitutions in a few of the games so far are our most dangerous players keep getting taken off before like 70 minutes, which kind of does get confusing for me. Now, I don't remember reading anywhere if Jack Harrison was hurt, but I'm not sure why he got subbed off at half time. I think there were other candidates that could have gone off. But yeah, and this is something else as well I want to talk about. Jacob Smith saying Jesse got sent off for doing what Klopp does every game. Absolutely does, and this is it for me as well. Not only was that incident, it was a penalty in terms of the shirt being pulled back outside the box makes no difference. He got he got tripped over in the box, so that should have been referred to VAR. And if VAR did check it and they didn't say it's a penalty, it just goes along again with the bad decisions that we've seen over the weekend. But he got sent off for demonstrating against the referee and things like that. But it's nothing what other managers don't do. But what I've got to say about that is referees are human. And unfortunately, like with anything in life, people look at you and say, well, who are you? So these referees are looking at Jesse whenever he's nattering to the refs and saying, you're just Jesse Marsch, an American that's managing Leeds United. You're not Jurgen Klopp. You're not Pep from Man City. Who are you to try and tell me anything? That unfortunately you wouldn't think it is, but it's human nature. It's just like it sometimes it's not the message, it's who the message is from. I get that on here too. I can say something, but if you don't like me, but somebody else you do like says the same thing, you'll disagree with me, but you'll agree with the other person. It would just be like in a company. where if you're lowest on your ranking, the mailroom boy gives you a suggestion, gives the CEO a suggestion, the CEO looks at him like, okay, but then his assistant CEO would say the same thing and go, wow, that's a brilliant idea, just like that. So I do think that Jesse is coming. He might get a reputation of being that way with the referees in terms of who are you to speak to us in this way? You're just the manager of Leeds United. It's something it's something just to consider in terms of that. But I don't want him to change. I want him to keep on sticking up for us. I want him to keep on speaking out when he feels like there's a decision, especially like the one against Somerville, who got manhandled and then tripped over with, and we didn't get a decision for it. I want him to keep on speaking up. We've already been through a period where we were just rolling over and getting our tummies tickled. I think that it's time that we have somebody that's standing up for the team. Joseph saying some of our fans have become too soft since Bielsa came here. A manager sitting down, being respectful all game isn't what this club has always been about. That's true. Good on Jesse for protesting. Yeah, I'm definitely with that. But for the people that aren't on that tip, put it in the chat now or in the comments after the video if you disagree. Uh, and Jacob saying, in regards to the substitutions being confusing, are the subs all his fault though? He doesn't actually have many great options off the bench that can impact a game. Yep, I mean Jacob, it all goes back to recruitment, doesn't it? And it goes back to the one in one out system, which is atrocious for a Premier League team. It really is. Um, it's crazy, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. But right, it's correct. He doesn't have the options like other teams do, but it's just that when we do have our dangerous players, I think they should stay on the pitch unless it's a fitness issue. I completely understand it, but tactically, you can rearrange Jack Harrison to do something else. Sinistera, I know he's getting up to fitness, but I'm sure he could last a little bit longer. Once those kind of players go off, we look like we've got nothing going on up front. Darren Wong saying the referees don't respect him, but doesn't mean he shouldn't stop standing up for us. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Jarvis is saying good to see him in the ref's ear. Yeah, does anybody disagree with that though? Byron, okay, let me just try and get Byron's comment out for anyone else that's thinking this way. I think I've lost it. I think I've lost it, man. Trying to look for it, Byron. I will flag it up because I'm sure a lot of people will be thinking what you've just said there. It's gone. Oh, here we go. Byron's asking, you really believe that fourth officials think that Jesse Marsch is a chance because he's got an American accent? I never said anything about his accent. I'm saying, listen, the bias over here is nuts. You've seen it already. Listen, whenever we lose a game, he gets the Ted Lasso thing straight away. And just because it's journalists and everyone else like that, you think referees aren't human? Of course, they're going to say not stuff like this, but he's managing a team that isn't Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal. He's not managing any of the big boys. He's fairly unknown over here. They will be thinking, you're not Jurgen Klopp. You can't talk to me like this. Look how many times Jurgen Klopp will get in people's ear. And when is the last time you ever seen him sent off? It's very rare, isn't it? I'm not saying the American accent's anything to do with it, but of course there's a bias over here, especially with somebody so outspoken the way Jesse Marsch is. Tommy saying, I love Jesse getting questioning the ref, but coming on the pitch and bumping into the linesman is too far, in my opinion. We're dirty leads. Yeah, I completely agree. He can't be going onto the pitch. Stay in your technical area and get your message out that way. I completely agree with that, Tommy. But I do think that he should be able to argue as much as we've seen Mourinho do it in the past. Although Mourinho, in the end, was becoming a pantomime villain, and the referee were enjoying sending him off, just probably because they wanted to hear his post game rant afterwards. So yeah, once again, just to make it clear, I'm not saying it's because he's American, but you have to consider people are humans, and you see all the muck whenever Jesse Marsch gets something wrong. It immediately goes to the Ted Lasso stuff. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that happens. Lewis is saying once the subs are made, we become a championship team. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Lukey B saying Marsh is good for us. Board backed him at the start and screwed him on deadline day. Llorente has to be dropped. Play Pascal Struijk and Rasmus Christensen at centre. And then Ailey. Oh, RK. Who's RK? I don't know who RK is. Maybe oh, Robin Koch, of course it is at centre, and then Ailing and Rasmus either side now. Okay. Christopher KG Klopp moans at fourth officials week in week out. We don't see Klopp sent off. No, you don't. You don't. No. Uh, yeah, exactly. Jack Klopp got Pascal sent off. That's the difference. When Klopp speaks, they listen. They listen, and if they don't listen in the game, they'll listen in the post match, and you'll notice the week after they'll do something in favor of those managers. That's just the way it is. It's always been like that. So I don't know why anyone would be surprised by that. Uh, let's have a look. Scott Lightning. Let's have a look here. We are still creating chances. We were still creating chances without Sinister and Harrison when they went off. Defense is the problem. We will create and score many. Uh, okay, hold on a minute. What's going on here? Can anyone still see me? Okay, I'm getting. I'm gonna have to go on here. Friggin' hell. Hold on, people. Honestly, God's sake. Oh Lord. Okay, can everyone hear me now? Back on the mobile phone. Back on. Oh Lord. One day. One day, people. No, I'm not. I'm not. I don't know. I just don't know. Oh, so stressful doing this. Honestly, don't know why. Don't know why I bother. Don't know why I bother. Yes, in regards to Scott's comment, though, we were still creating chances, yeah. But it was just our defense on the day. It was just calamity all around, wasn't it? All around. Jacob saying Premier League conspiracy. Cage's Wi-Fi gets throttled on every live. They're against Leeds. You know what? You know what's funny about that? The funniest thing is the Premier League chairman, who I've actually met, by the way, is actually a Leeds United fan. So there shouldn't be any conspiracy against Leeds. He should be helping us a bit more if that was the case. But he's actually a Leeds United fan. Would you believe it? But yeah. Oh man, what a horror show! What a horror show! But yeah, I think that's it on Jesse Marsch as much as I can remember what I said. In terms of Jesse, though, I just want to make it clear I'm fully behind him. I want him to get the substitutions right a bit more often, like he did against Wolves. I mean, that was a perfect day. Chelsea was good in terms of maintaining the game against Chelsea. That was good. But a few of the other games for me have been a little bit head scratching, and I'm sure he will get into it. I'm sure he will. And I'm sure he will improve. So for me, stick with Jesse Marsch. I'm fully behind him. But if you're not with him, then please put it in the comments as well. Now, the one in, one out transfer policy is the next thing. Jesse made it clear about the Dan James. He was asked about the Dan James thing, and he said that he wishes that he didn't have to sell Dan, but in order to get somebody out, somebody in, we had to get somebody out. And the thing for me now, I believe if they could redo that whole transfer day over again, I believe we'd still have Dan James, and they would have left Will Nianto in Switzerland to, as they say, to keep playing and probably get him in the summer, never mind January. So I do think that there was some regret there. But what a policy this is that we've got. And it kind of makes sense for everything now. I mean, somebody said that were we one of the teams in for Sander Berg, who was being offered a loan option with view to buy? Well, obviously we weren't. We weren't one of those teams, because who else was going to go out if Dan James was the one that was garnering the most interest? For me, like I say, the board have done some great things. Obviously, they got us promoted, which is the main thing. But you have to then think, is this as far as we're going to go under this ownership? Is this as far as we can hope for, just treading water in the Premier League? Is this going to be it? Is mid-table mediocrity going to be where Leeds United are going to stay? Now, I know that was much better than mediocrity in the Championship, fully behind that. But I just feel as a club, Leeds United, especially with all the money we bring in, we should be aiming for a little bit more than that in a couple of years' time. And I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that. Andre Cortez is asking about what the 49ers do. I'm not sure what the 49ers do, but somebody who supports the 49ers say that they're not they don't invest too much in their team. I can't really say that, though, because I don't know. But they say they're not the best investors, so doesn't sound promising. But we'll see if they ever do, if they ever come in. Jacob Smith saying Kinnear literally said we were never against making the squad bigger on the square ball. They're not showing that right now. Yeah, that's what I mean. The thing is, what I say to that as well, Jacob, is that the squad is a decent size. It's just not filled with enough quality players. If you look at our team list, it's very long. It's very long. It's got a lot of youngsters in it. It's got a lot of players that shouldn't be here. But the squad size is big enough. It's just not good enough, which we are finding out in these games. Listen, in regards to Jesse Marsch, our next game is at home against Forest. I mean, that's going to be a huge one now, because if we don't win that one, I can imagine the whispers and everyone talking about us, being in the bottom three and everything else getting louder. I can see that getting worse. So for me, the game against Forest, we'll talk about the Forest game later in the week, but it just becomes even bigger now. Forest have just lost their home game against Bournemouth, so they're not in great spirits either. It's going to be a huge game on next Monday. It's going to be insane. Yeah, beefy. Forest a must win already. It's looking like that after the last three, because listen, again, Brighton away, Everton at home, and Brentford away. Are they games that you should only be getting 1 point out of? I don't think so. So now the onus is to get the win against Forest. And listen, at the moment we're still ninth, which is good. It's still a good place to be considering where we were starting last season. But we have to get points on the board in order to finish where I believe we will, which is 16th, comfortably 16th, without being in a relegation battle. But it's going to be hard with the squad the way it is, and that's why this one in, one out thing just it blew my mind. I think it was a bad week last week for Leeds United board. I think when you take in Angus Kinnear's comments, the whole debacle on transfer deadline day, and then Jesse Marsch coming out and essentially saying it's a one in one out system. I think it was just a bad week overall for the board, in my opinion. Does anyone else agree? Or if you disagree, let me know. Yeah, Jarvis saying Somerville look good. I'd like to see more. I think that's the plan, Jarvis. I think with Dan James gone, I think that's opened up a spot for Somerville to come in. But if he's going to get roughed up like that and not get decisions, it's going to be mad. But I think he was I think he will give us something going forward. I mean, listen, he did the last time he played properly, and that was that Wolves game last season. He was tremendous. Him and Gilhart were instrumental in that game, but we didn't get much opportunity after. So we'll see what he's going to do in the weeks coming. Josh is saying all of our money is going towards building the most beautiful stadium in the championship. Yeah, I mean, it does seem like that is where the finance is probably going, which is why we're not spending a lot of money. But in order to have a stadium like that and fill it, you need to be in the Prem. You have to be. So you can't keep relying on some of the figureheads that you've been relying on in previous years. Big 2022, 23, and we're still, there's people in the fan base still debating over Llorente or Cooper. And I don't care about the argument. I don't, because I think it's meaty versus meaty. But we shouldn't be talking about that in 22, 23, but we are. Jacob saying currently the opposition just letting us have the ball and we struggle to break them down. Hopefully we improve over time and get Sinister and Harrison on the ball more. Yeah, it needs to be. It needs to be that way because Harrison's seen way too much of the ball for me. I know he's a danger in terms of his crossing and things like that, although some would disagree. But he is very good at those like across the 6-yard box crosses. But yeah, we need to get Sinister especially involved in the game. I mean, his goal, it was drowned in the Ivan Toney brilliant hat trick, but his goal was superb. And not only that as well, I mean, somebody did say about Toney's free kick, was it as good as I made it out to be? Yes, I get it. Meslier stood behind the crowded wall and he shouldn't have done that, but still the hit was superb. So yeah. And listen, I was going to move on to that as well after the Dan James, but Sparks has brought it up now. KG, did you see Romano's video saying we're definitely going back for Gakpo in January? We're only spending on the targets we really want. And I get that. I've always said that if you don't feel a player is going to benefit your squad in the long run, don't do it. Or if it's a short-term one, make sure it is short-term and make sure the contract's short. But these days, players, especially when they know a team needs them, they won't ask for 3-4 years and everything else like that. And we don't want to commit to that. So, yeah, I mean, they say, Fabrizio did say about Gakpo, but listen, he's going to have more competition. If we get Gakpo, I will be very, very surprised. Like I say, at this point in time, I don't expect any transfers in January. I just don't see it happening. But I would love to be proven wrong. But I just don't feel that we are going to do anything in this current one in, one out system. Because if Gakpo comes in, who's leaving? Who is leaving? Scott is saying, forget Gakpo, world-class centre-back needed. Well, yeah, I mean, listen, we're not going to get a world-class one in, but we need to be on the hunt for some new centre-backs, in my opinion, as well. Listen, everyone that was telling me about centre-backs, and I kind of brushed over it. I was distracted by this hand that was saying that we need a striker and left back and a midfielder. I wasn't looking what was going on in this hand. So that's on me. But yeah, I mean, listen, that's just why I believe we'll finish 16th, because our depth overall just isn't good. So there's many areas that we need to strengthen. And yeah, centre back is definitely one we should be looking at too as well. Yeah, Jarvis, or by 18-year-old last minute when we need an experienced striker. Well, listen, I do think that they see potential in Nianto, but you can tell that they really ideally would have liked him to stay in Switzerland for the season. So again, and that's the thing as well, the quality in terms of what you're bringing on. Neonto, unless he hits the ground running straight away, we're going to see a lot of endeavor. We're going to see a lot of, hard work and trying to do his best. But will it be good enough? Whereas if you had gotten a proven striker in, you know what you're getting. At this moment in time, we don't know what we're getting. It might be another huff and puff situation. I do think he'll work out from what I saw of him in the 2 games I saw of him for Italy against Germany. But yeah, it's not ideal, is it, to bring in another youngster into this setup? Yeah, that will probably be in the program notes this week on Monday. Hey, it's another international number 9 added to the team. Muff saying we'll be lucky to be even 16th. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people worried about that. A lot of people worried about that. Jordan saying Gakpo in, Harrison out. We know Harrison is wanted by other clubs. I hope not. I hope not. But yeah, you're right. That's probably the what it will be. Tom's asking, is Neonto playing under 21? Well, we don't know what he's doing just yet, but you would guess by the 1 in 1 out thing that, and the way Jesse was talking in terms of what we needed in terms of a striker, he will be playing. I don't know if he's going to start, but he will definitely be on the bench, just from Jesse's comments. Giles, what's so wrong with getting an experienced player on loan? No idea. No idea. I've wondered that all summer. Even in January, I was like, what's wrong with getting some players on loan? But obviously, it must be a money thing. That's the only thing I can think of, unless they just don't want to upset some other members of the team. It's got to be a money thing for me. Yep, Giles, not everyone has to be a long-term buy. Absolutely. And I thought Rodrigo was that, because you're buying a 29-year-old, you're not going to get no sale. You're not going to get to sell him for more than that. You're using him for the duration of his contract, the 4 years up until what, 32? And you're hoping that you get a good enough investment where you stay in the Prem and he gives you the goods in that time. Yes, not everyone has to be 18 and you get them for 5 million, hope to sell them for 50. You can try and do that, but it's a dangerous game to play. Happy Kilmore, tremendous. Maybe the board don't understand we can't attract top tier players if we constantly flirt with relegation, and the way we conduct transfers isn't very professional either. Got to improve. Got to improve in Jan. Yeah, completely agree. That's a great point, Happy Kilmore. Yeah, I mean the way that we handle transfers on the deadline day was a joke, absolute joke. Making it so public about Gakpo, and then the whole, I can't even remember his name, who we was trying to get. It was just a joke all around. Then just calling up Neonto last minute and saying, "Hey, do you fancy coming now?" Yeah, crazy. Michael Pollard is saying Leeds wages is 47 million per year. That's a lot of wages, guys. Let's be sensible. Yeah, I mean it's true, that is a lot of money, Michael. But when you let's look at it another way. Do you think that 47 million per year with the squad that we've got, is that being spent wisely? That's what I would ask. Because if that is the case, well, who's getting the majority of those wages in this current team? Who's getting that? Gary Davis is. I think we could lose against Forest. We always give teams their first wins. Just look at the season in Southampton. Yeah, I know. But no, for me, we can't do that. We can't do that, man. Has to be a win for me against Forest. We just have to. H is saying, do you think every team is just going to set up and sit back against us and hit us on the counter, seeing how easy it is to score against us? Yeah, that's something else that Jesse needs to address. I should have said it earlier, but laptop issues. The high line with this current defense. We don't have a John Stones in there. We don't have a Diaz in there, who are fairly quick. We need to probably bring our defensive line back down a bit, because when the goal they scored straight after we scored, what was it? Was it Mbuemo's goal? I think it was his, the one that Robin Koch headed backwards. We can't afford to do that, because we don't have the players to run back with that kind of speed. And that's why I was saying, in terms of whether you want Liam Cooper in or not, I don't care with that argument, really don't. But the fact is, he's not quick either. So whereas he loves to pull shirts as well, just as well as Llorente, we're going to get Liam Cooper that's going to get stung with that high line. So I do think that we probably need to step back a bit with our defensive line. It's not always going to work. That's tremendous, John Knox. I'd rather have KG's Wi-Fi in defense than Llorente. Tremendous, man. Byron saying we always smash Forest. Yeah, it's a new Forest though. It's a new Forest, and we just got to win. I don't for me now. I don't care if it's a 1-0 win. I do want good performances because it's way too early in the season to be talking about points on the board. But we just need to break this winless streak because, like I said at the start, we are going to go through these dips where we don't win a game in 1, 2, 3 games sometimes. But you got to break the cycle and quick, especially with some of the older players here who haven't got that winning mentality, who are quite weak mentally. We have to break it quick and just get another win on the board because I think it's after Nottingham Forest, it's Man United next, and they're kicking into some good form, people. They're kicking into some good form, and you know what they like to do against us at Old Trafford, so we need to fix up and quick. We need to fix up and quick. Bully B is saying it's not early 2000s, being scared to get in that mess again back then, and then there wasn't TV money like now. They're in it to line their pockets. Yeah, I mean, listen, that's what I mean. Everyone that does say that has got that cautionary tale about the Ridsdale days, and listen, I'm aware of it. The Ridsdale days are why I'm just so not bothered when certain players get sold, because I've seen it all. I've seen our literal team where a few more players could have probably had us challenging for a league, just all get sold for pittance, just absolute, just bargain hunting at Leeds United. So that's why I don't really take player sales that much to heart that much anymore. But yeah, I'm not talking about overloading in any areas, but you're looking at our left back situation. Will Firpo be ready next week? Somebody in the comment on my last video actually said, I hope Rodrigo's back. Rodrigo's going to be out for nearly 4 weeks with a shoulder issue, so he won't be back for Forest. We're just light in areas. Central midfield, we're light. Striker, we're light. And yeah, that's just where he is. I'm not talking about having 6 strikers on the books again. You know, that's ridiculous. But yeah, we do need some more quality in depth. Beefy's asking, happy with Ayling, KG, or go back to Christensen? I'd stick with Christensen. He's got to work this out. It's a big for us when you're talking signings. It's a big investment, so we need him to come good. We need him to get up to speed in the Prem. Whatever knock or issue he had this week, I hope he's over it and he comes back in for Forest and he puts in a better performance than we've seen. So yeah, I would absolutely stick with Christensen at this point in time. I think it's way too early, and that was my thing with Llorente. I know he's had like 3 shaky games in a row, but just like against Chelsea, he was a big reason why we kept a clean sheet in that game. I just think you shouldn't drop somebody after one bad game. You just let them try and work through it. But after a while, you've got to say, all right, that's enough. With Christensen, he's having spouts here and there. I would probably give him another opportunity, especially against Nottingham Forest. Yeah, Tom, the debate between having Ayling still in the squad is just so bad. Same defense as last season, where we let goals flood in. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. This is why I'm saying that's why I could only give the window 5 out of 10, Tom, because we didn't get rid of players that we should have got rid of and replaced them with other ones. It's not just about income; it's about outgoings. And when you're talking about hoping to bring Cooper back in, Ayling back in, well, I mean, your ceiling is capped. Your ceiling is capped to where you're going to finish in the league. Darren saying Ayling was superb when he came. I mean, superb is that's a big word for that one. He was all right. Yeah, he was good. He was okay. He set up the goal. Yes, but man, long term, oh man. North Allerton White is saying, I think I would rather have Ayling as centre back than Llorente, especially against Man U. Beggars can't be choosers. Oh Lord. Listen to this is see, these are all comments. Just think about these comments that everyone's saying and where we are right now. That's squad depth for you. That's a lack of quality in squad depth, and why people are thinking these kind of things. We shouldn't be in this position in the 3rd year of our Premier League status. We shouldn't be. Uh, yeah, that was it. Let me just see. Yeah, we are operating on the best of the worst basis. Yeah, yeah. Spark saying Rome wasn't built in a decade. Yeah, I get all that, but we're 3 years in. We're 3 years in. There's other clubs that have done stuff in less than 3 years that aren't as big as Leeds United, and that don't have rich owners. By the way, I want to get that in. They don't have mega rich owners, so it's not that. It's about knowing when to let go of certain players, and this club at this point in time isn't doing that. Nemini saying we need attacking fullbacks for more chances to score. Agreed. We need more overlapping fullbacks. Like I say, Pascal's doing brilliantly at left back. He is, but you see, once he gets in a position, he doesn't whip the ball in first time. He always passes it back inside. We do need to get more fullbacks, and Christensen as well, because of his lack of confidence. He's not bombing on like we've seen him in for Salzburg and Denmark as well. Denmark internationally, he's a bit tentative as well when he goes forward. So we do need to improve that. But yeah, I mean, let me just check. Was that Metro just saying KG spot on again, 15th or 16th in our first season back is nowhere near good enough. Too many happy clappy fans, I'm afraid, who refuse to criticize anything this club ever does. Oh, listen, Metro, it's all opinions, man. It's all opinions. That's what I mean. That I don't mind people disagreeing. It's cool as long as it's respectful. It's fine. I just think for myself where I want the club to go. I'm aware that it's not going to be overnight, but I don't know if we're making big enough steps to get past where we currently are, which is a mediocre mid-table side. I don't know. That's for everyone to decide, though. That's for everyone to judge. Happy Kilmore saying, KG, don't forget when the board didn't strengthen last year, they told us year 3 was the big investment year. They did. We just want what is to see what was promised. That's not a big ask from us. Yeah, but I think we're finding, I think we're finding Happy Kilmore. Some of the messages that are coming out and to what the reality, what's happening, isn't quite matching. So I guess you just got to take everything with a pinch of salt, right? Yeah, and listen, this is the perspective here. Just to end the stream, and I'm sorry about the midstream crash. Sorry about that, but please still hit a like on the video for me, please. Boris saying still top half of the table after 6 games though. Let's look at the positives. Yeah, and the positives for me is that we are still top half. I mean, it's been a real weird league season so far for quite a few teams, but we just need to get back in that win column against Forest, and we'll talk about that later in the week. Performances from players like Tyler Adams have been impressive. Who else? Aronson has been good when he's not been doubled up on. Harrison's been decent. But so there are positive. Mark Rucker again brilliant as well. Sinistera coming back into the team, that's a positive. There are positives to take. There really are. We just need to iron out a few of the faults with what we've currently got, and hopefully the substitutions from Monday will make more sense. We'll see if Jesse's on the bench for that game as well. But yeah, let's have a look. Tom saying we're Leeds and we're big, but people think we're bigger than we actually are. Maybe where we are now is the correct place. Yeah, listen, I'm not saying that we should be back in the Champions League by any stretch of the imagination, but I would like us to be fighting for top 10. Top 10 in the Premier League, I think, is a reasonable shout. But you've got to get the right players in to do that and the right squad depth to do it. I just don't think we're anywhere near there just yet. Moff saying every positive is up top, nothing from the back line. I would say Pascal's been a positive at left back when that's not his position. It's earned him a spot in the Holland's setup. So I would say he's been a positive. Before the Brentford game, I'd say Robin Koch as well. I thought he was good, but yeah, he had a nightmare on a Saturday too. Yeah, he had a bad game. I mean, a header back to play in Mbuemo on side. Yikes. It was just bad all round, wasn't it, people? Jarvis saying Paddy ain't good enough. Please stop thinking he's our saviour. Yeah, he's certainly not. He's certainly not. Beefy saying KG Cine will be a better sign than Raf. Well, that's a big shout. That's a big shout, Beefy. I hope he's going to be that kind of unpredictable X factor player that we'll have, like Rafinha was. But that's a big shout. He did some tremendous things for us. So we'll see about that. I hope so. It would only benefit us in the long term if he was. Yeah, Jacob. Yeah, we're one of the biggest clubs by revenue outside the the big six. We should be ambitious as fans. I still think the future is bright. Yeah, it's true. That's what I'm talking about. It's just all the revenue we get. Obviously, the TV money of the Premier League and things like that. I just think that we should be in a better position than we are. Not outrageously better, but just a little bit better. And Cine already showing some magic. Yeah. HVD saying, I think it is a developing team, a developing system. Yep, far from perfect, but we need to give them chances and time. We can defeat Chelsea on our best day. It takes time to be the best each time. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I'm in the camp of giving Marsch some more time to implement his system. It's very new, very new. Snoop Huggy White saying we can't have any ambition with that transfer policy. It's a buy low, sell high club, which won't progress as we're unable to cut the family ties to players that should have left 3 years ago. Good point, Snoop Huggy. It's a good point. Mark Atkinson is saying goals win games, and this side had goals in them. Yeah, we absolutely do, which is brilliant. We just need to keep them out. let's do our best to keep them out. Not concede a soft, easy goal for the first one, and we can punish teams with the way that we play, especially if we keep our better players on the pitch. Philip is saying, I'm late to the party, but we need to give Jesse a chance. He didn't get all the signings he wanted, especially a striker. I love his passion. Yeah, me too. That's what I'm in. I love not just his passion. I think he's got a good mind for football, and I like how he is as a man manager. Just clean up the substitutions a bit. Let's make more sense of the substitution. But yeah, listen, people, I'm going to end it there. Yeah, Gail mentioned the whole VAR thing at the start. Sorry if you missed that. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. But please, in the comments after the video, let me know what you think about Jesse Marsch, the one in, one out transfer policy. Perspective on Leeds United. I know it was a disappointing result against Brentford, and we was all very down. But I'm glad that we could do this here, and just talk about where we are with some perspective. If you think that we're in trouble, you think we're in trouble. If you think things will get better, cool. Just let me know in the comments below, and I will see you at some point later this week for a Forest preview. Unless something else happens beforehand, okay? Unless something else happens beforehand. But yeah, it's a long time until our next game. So, but yeah, hopefully everything is fine in the Leeds United camp for the next week, and we go on to Forest and beat them. And yeah, please hit the likes for the people that are here. Please hit the likes before you go. And if you watch a replay, please like the video too. I'll see you all soon. Peace out.